Anyway, main stories?
I don't think it has
Yeah,
enough
okay.
pouches, honestly. I mean,
First one is one that we discussed. Some of us discussed yesterday, pre Deadpool. Um, the comic book analog is getting adapted by the other half of the Deadpool, or not the Deadpool team, the John Wick 1 team. And I always confuse who's who. So this is Chad Stahelski, who's continued to make John Wick movies after John Wick 1, not the director of Deadpool 2. Just so we know that, in case anybody's confused, because I know I was.
I would say this, that both of those guys have continued to make John Wick movies, because Deadpool 2 is basically a John Wick movie.
Yeah, so is Atomic Blonde. It's just spies instead of assassins.
Yeah. And this is the comic we talked about where I was like, oh, it's Johnny Mnemonic, right?
Yes. And I'm going to read the basic plot of it. Ryan Condal, creator of the sci-fi series Colony, has been tapped to adapt the story of Analog, set in 2024, when the internet is used only for porn after the world is mass doxxed. An event that
what's the difference?
Yes.
I mean, I was about to say,
power grows.
And it's given
I'm kind
rise
of for
to
that world.
Yeah, it's given rise to armed couriers or paper jockeys who will transport sensitive information around the globe or die trying as they fight off fascists, criminals, and spies.
I'm not gonna lie, this sounds really dumb.
Sounds very derivative.
Yeah, kind of.
It's really like, hey, let's be really on the nose about fascism.
Yeah.
It's like fascism, I'm sorry, happens subtly, not
right.
Not so we're here to take your porn.
Yeah, well, no. So I think this is more.
They can take it out of my hot lubed hand.
I think the idea is that they've all decided this. So everybody's agreed. The internet's just porn now. So this is how we talk to each other and communicate with each other.
So
I mean, come on. Like, real protests have been staged. Successful protests, technically.
Yeah.
By porn sites, by just blocking certain states for, like, the legislation they passed.
That's true.
The internet is already porn. Porn has decided every tech race ever since VHS and Beta.
Right.
It actually didn't predict the Blu-ray versus HD DVD because HD DVD was who they backed initially before Blu-ray took over.
Are we watching
Thank you, Tropic Thunder. God damn it, Jinx.
What was that?
We said this. We made basically the same point. Anyways, okay. So the point is, mass dox basically means everybody who's in defeat. It was revealed that they were in defeat. That's what that's saying. Everybody knew.
I've dabbled in foot porn before.
So if you were somebody who, if you were into any fetish,
you were a former coach of the New York Jets.
Right.
Everyone would know about your fetish.
Right.
Your wife has a tattoo of the quarterback of your team.
If you're the president and say that you have a fetish for having somebody pee on you, everybody will know it. That's
how we do.
Right.
As long as everyone is consenting adults, no judgment.
But other things also, other aspects of our lives would be revealed. Bank accounts, so on and so forth. Just anything of vital importance is revealed.
So like that South Park episode that was last year or the year before.
This
This
actually sounds a lot like the one Brian K. Vaughan comic, Private Eye. Because the whole idea in that is that the cloud got hacked, essentially.
Yes.
Like the
That's what
entire
I was
cloud.
talking
And
about. Yeah.
Yesterday. Okay, sorry, I totally missed that. Yeah,
no, it wasn't on the show yesterday, but yeah, that's something we talked about. I couldn't remember the name of it, but yes, it is. It's very similar to that. Because in that, like, everybody's identity just gets revealed, like, right?
Yep. And everyone has to go under an anonymous avatar online, and like you don't reveal your name unless you want to have everyone find everything else about you because it's out there. It's available to everyone.
Yeah, but if your main character is a courier, so it's that plot, like I was joking, like it's Johnny Mnemonic, so it's a plot where you have a guy and his job is to like kind of bootleg information across lines.
Yeah, kind of. It's very similar to that.
I tie into John Wick because Keanu Reeves.
I think it's gonna have a very similar feeling to that for sure.
I really hope they cast Ice-T and a robotic dolphin.
Damn it, you beat me to it. I was gonna say I hope they cast a dolphin, and Dolph Lundgren with a giant cross.
Oh, who's the other guy in there from Black Flag? Henry Rollins.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my God, I have that movie on DVD.
And Rollins comes in and he's like, I don't know, what is this? What is this goop? Kids used to play with this, and he throws it on the floor.
He plays a surgeon in that movie.
I know. I was referencing. What is it? I love the '80s or whatever.
God. Yeah.
Okay. But any other thoughts, I guess, on Analog while we're talking about it, because it is based on a comic book. Otherwise, that's why it's on here. So.
It sounds very derivative of like 30 different things.
Yeah, but it's Stahelski, and I like John Wick Chapter 2. It's good.
Yeah.
And it has all the same. It builds on the world building of John Wick 1. So at the least, the world of Analog will feel very grounded, and like you'll be able to think that you can touch it. So if his talents in the previous John Wick movies continue into this movie.
Quick side note, nice Evangeline pick there, Lou, that you sent over to the chat.
Yeah, because I just had to be like, oh,
what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
That's Rob Liefeld on women.
Was she broken in half and put back together at some point?
What is going on with her
There's
butt?
like two other women in that photo.
Where is her waist?
Where is
it's covered by a belt.
Where is her
pouches?
It's covered by pouches. Yes.
Where is her genitalia?
I like that her shoulder blades could touch her butt cheeks.
Rob Liefeld must have created a fetish at one point, and he just
there is that infamous
she
spider,
has no support structure.
There's that infamous Spider-Woman cover that's just like
that one,
physically impossible. Yeah.
Well, he's an Italian artist who was pretty much known for doing porn comics. So what did you people expect when he would give you a Spider-Woman comic?
Yeah. I also agree with that point.
I don't have really anything else to say about Analog because I don't know shit about it.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like
we talked about it on the last episode.
Like, does Chad Stahelski get you excited at all? Because he does for me, like, quite a bit. So
yeah, I'm totally willing to give it a try.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to see like things from it before I can care.
Yeah, I need a trailer. The problem is that this is happening till after John Wick 3, so we have a long time to wait for this.
And aren't they doing a John Wick TV show on Netflix?
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to take up as much of his time. He's going to be a producer, and he's going to be directing the pilot.
There's a John Wick Netflix, and then there's a Keanu Reeves superhero thing on Netflix, and there's John Wick 3.
Yeah, but those are all directed by who did they say was going to direct those? That's all directed by the guy who did Dope. So that's different. But yeah, he's part of it though. Yes. So yeah, this will be a while before this movie even comes out. But I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I will be there when it comes out though. So yeah, that's the first news story. Next, just two big Marvel stories. Jake Gyllenhaal might be playing Mysterio.
Fuck yes.
Hell yeah. All for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've only been waiting for 2 decades almost.
Give it to me. Give it to me now.
When was that first Spider-Man movie?
Oh God.
Oh, you mean Spider-Man 4, where Jake Gyllenhaal was supposed to take over for Tobey Maguire?
No, the Spider-Man where we set up that what's his name? Ash was gonna be Mysterio.
Yeah, 3.
No, the first one. Sam Raimi was setting that up from the first movie.
Oh, well, I mean, Mysterio was supposed to have been, involved for a long time, but Jake Gyllenhaal has also been on, Sony has refused to let go of the concepts they had for all these Spider-Man fucking projects they had going on. Because I'm pretty sure Vulture was supposed to be involved in either Spider-Man 4 or The Amazing Spider-Man 3.
He was going to be in 3.
Yeah, he was going to be in 3, and it was supposed to be... It was, but no, that was an Amazing Spider-Man. But in the Raimi Spider-Man Part 3, who was it? Is John Malkovich is who he wanted to play Vulture.
And then that Then that toy was taken away by Sony, and he was given Venom. And Raimi was like, I don't like this fucking character. What are you fucking doing? I don't want to play with this toy. So he decided to smash that toy against a wall and light it on fire.
And he cast Over Grace as an ultimate fuck you to everybody.
Yes, lighting on fire. That's.
But but after Tobey Maguire departed, Jake Gyllenhaal was supposed to fill his shoes. So both of these concepts are things that Sony has refused to let go of for almost a decade and a half now.
Yeah,
because that Spider-Man 4 is supposed to be Mysterio, played by, I don't know why I'm losing the name right now, but
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, they had been setting him up since the first Spider-Man. That is supposed to be the same.
That would have been so good too.
It's supposed to be the same character, the one that he plays in all 3 movies, and it's like his kind of descent from being who he was to breaking and becoming Mysterio in the 4th film.
I mean, that would make sense with
that's Raimi's idea, because the first movie he's the wrestling announcer.
Right.
The second movie he's the
theater guy.
Yeah.
And the third movie he's like a maitre d' at a restaurant.
I forgot about that one. I couldn't.
That's Peter's failed proposal.
Yeah. The idea was that Raimi, I think he's talked about, is that like that he was basically gonna like that's his breaking point, and in the 4th movie he just goes nuts, and then he's Mysterio. And it's the fall from great, like the kind of quote unquote fall from great, but like his fall into this.
That could have been cool.
That would have been rad.
I know someone brought up the point of like, why would you cast someone like Jake Gyllenhaal, who's known for his looks, and put him in a big giant fishbowl?
Because he's not going to be in the fishbowl the entire time.
But he's also a good actor.
No, he's going to be in probably like just a cat suit, maybe at most for most of it. And I think like the Mysterio fishbowl will be there, but that's going to be an illusion. You know, because I think they're going to do what Marvel does, and they're going to combine some things. So in one version, he's a special effects expert. In another version, he's a stuntman. I think he will be a stuntman and special effects expert.
I can see them combining Mysterio and Chameleon into kind of one character.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Mysterio route will go the same way the Vulture will, which we won't see him in a full costume until like midway through the movie, and then you won't see him again in that costume till the end.
I think Vulture's costume is like it's mostly stuff that looks like Michael Keaton character just had.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all stuff that he took from other movies.
It's all stuff. Yeah, it's like leftover parts from the other films. It's, you know, like helicarrier parts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that we're gonna get 2 villains in this, and the one I would want is Kraven.
Well, Keaton I would love is it in if this it's one like also. Keaton is returning, so he's at least going to be.
I really want a sequence where like Peter's getting his ass kicked, and then like a fucking giant metallic vulture claw reaches in and like grabs Mysterio and chucks him into a wall.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I really want to see that.
I would really love that. But I do. I don't know if we'll see the fishbowl that much.
I think Keaton's role will be like a cameo, like a shot of the prison.
I could see that too.
I wouldn't announce that. Like you wouldn't say, "Hey, Michael Keaton's coming back." It was for 5 seconds.
Crazy.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Crazy idea. Just had though.
As a surprise.
What if they set Keaton up to be somebody who facilitates some of the supervillains, being that he has knowledge of where to find these parts that he can build this stuff with?
Well, I would say that, but he also he refuses to sell out Peter to.
That's true.
Well, no,
That's true.
I don't think he'd ever give anybody's identity away, but he might know how to get parts that might allow someone to make illusions, kind of like.
Yeah, or make a scorpion suit.
Right.
Well, here's the question. If you make a scorpion suit, are you going to actually cast a J. Jonah? Because
they're not going to do that part of it.
No.
They can never cast a J. Jonah that's not J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. Because
they don't have to. They can dance around it because they keep Peter this young for a while.
Yeah, he'll have a cyborg tail, and that's about it. Like, he won't have spider strength or scorpion strength, I guess. And maybe he has, like, because, like, he shoots, like, acid out of his tail, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So, like, maybe he has that, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? Maybe he has, like, an acid gun, which would actually be more cinematic.
To me, I think this would be better if it was, like, Mysterio and Kraven team up to make, like, a killer reality show.
That'd be cool.
Oh, that's a good angle.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're doing Craven, I'm all into that. But
I feel like Craven is the one guy who we really miss in the Spider-Man mythos.
Well, I don't want a Craven movie unless they're gonna do Craven's Last Hunt.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he buries Peter alive.
Yeah, I don't want any of that. You think it was rough watching Peter sit there with a bunch of debris on him, going like, "You're Spider-Man, get up, Spider-Man!" Like crying as a 15-year-old. Like, yeah, watch a grown-ass man bury what's supposed to be a 16-year-old boy alive.
He's just burying Tom Holland. Help!
Oh, you mean Sunday for me?
What are you doing? I'm burying you.
I could totally see them doing like Mysterio sits up because he's like the mastermind,
right?
And like they do this whole like live streaming thing where Craven is hunting him, and Mysterio's running the controls.
Right. So he's like his character from Nightcrawler, basically. But
yeah.
That's what I brought up. Like he used to be this creepy fuck who's just like.
Yeah, I like anybody who thinks that Gyllenhaal is still the same dude from like 10, 15 years ago really needs to branch out and watch the stuff he's done since then, because Nightcrawler is not just a weird, creepy movie. It's a weird, creepy movie where Jake Gyllenhaal is the weird, creepy guy, and he wins.
Oh yeah,
he's a villain who's smarter than everybody else in the movie. He's been
weird and creepy since Donnie Darko.
Out of his own mouth, that character says, "I'm uneducated. I didn't go to school, but I can outsmart you on the streets any day of the week."
Donnie Darko is creepy not because of Gyllenhaal, but because of the director.
Patrick Swayze's a pedophile.
Yes, that too. But that movie is as good as it is because of the blind look that director stumbled into.
Because name the better movie he's made since then.
Right.
I'll wait.
The director's cut of Donnie Darko.
Huh?
The extra added.
Yeah, I've seen both.
There's a direct. Wait,
they add in text, and that's all it is. But it does make it better.
And some of the music got changed too. Like he didn't originally use an XXX song during the school bus scene in the very beginning in the original cut, and in the director's cut, he was able to.
I don't know. I love that movie. I remember my original AIM name was. Oh man, what the hell do they call it? It's like Sparkle something that the little.
Sparkle Motion.
Sparkle. That was my AIM name for a very long time.
Wow.
I just don't believe you.
You believe in Sparkle Motion.
In Sparkle Motion.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What's your commitment to Sparkle Motion?
That's
Have you ever seen the deleted alternate ending sequence?
Ending.
It shows Donnie dead in his room, and it's fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
He gets hit with an engine from a 747.
Well, no,
but he's
that's not what kills
impaled.
him. He is impaled on a piece of loose wood from his room, and he's rocking back and forth, dead-eyed, staring off into space.
Yeah.
It's like even Richard Kelly was like, "I hated filming this. I hated the fact that I had to include it, or at least use it at all. I'm glad we cut it. I despise everything about it."
Yeah, you don't need it. Like you know what happens.
Yeah.
It's showing and telling.
Anyways,
so I really want Jake Gyllenhaal. Holy fuck, this Skype chat is blown up with some weird shit. I'm trying to get back to our news stories.
But
can't handle Jones the Dolphin.
But yeah, Nightcrawler is great because I've said many times before that movie is the origin story of a real supervillain. Like he's going to go out there and create his own news stories. He's going to cause
at the
more...
risk of people's safety. Isn't his lackey Bodhi Rook?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Riz Ahmed is his sidekick who he kills. Spoilers.
He gets him killed in a shootout.
Yeah.
Isn't that guy everyone thinks is gonna be Carnage?
Yeah.
Even though here.
Wait, you mean Woody Harrelson?
Okay, and that's what they say. They said there was a headline recently that said Woody Harrelson is in Venom, but not for long, but is totally in the sequel. I'm like, just come out and say it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Say it.
He's Cletus Cassidy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's like, "Hi, I'm Cletus," and it cuts to black.
God damn it! Here's the thing: I would actually respect that so much, quite a bit.
I'm hoping they put him in a red wig. Anyways, let's move on to the Ryan Coogler story.
Yes. Okay. So
here, I'll be right back. Start talking. I gotta move my my quilt over to the dryer. Right back.
Yeah. Okay. So
what's that, Grandma?
God damn it! Headline here: Donald Glover and Michael B. Jordan are in talks for Black Panther 2, but this is very much unconfirmed and unsubstantiated.
Well,
but I'm...
Well, they could do Michael B. Well, they could do flashbacks.
Yes, and I mean, Connor brought this up in the main chat, and this is something I thought immediately is they'll do an Arkham Knight thing with this very easily.
So, well, like I say, if he goes and visits the
ancestral plane,
actually, my only problem is the Donald Glover part, in that he's already in the MCU.
Yeah, unless he's playing the same character,
that's what I'm wondering.
Problem with it.
I honestly don't remember who he is.
He plays the Prowler, or he's the character who eventually becomes the Prowler in the MCU. Yeah. And I could see that working, but in the same sense, though, I mean, it gets complicated because is the Prowler part of Sony's rights to Spider-Man, or is he Marvel's rights?
That is the thing. Like, so their deal really extends to Spider-Man showing up in their movies sometimes, and them having not really a say, but they can give notes on the Spider-Man movies, and they can give opinions, and they have the ability to say, well, if you don't do this, maybe I don't renegotiate the next deal. That's I was gonna say the only reason
Spider-Man's making any fucking money is because of Marvel now. Like the MCU. So, they got it right for the first fucking time. I'm sorry, even the
I agree.
Toby, the 80-year-old Tobey Maguire Peter Parker. Those movies. Those movies were good for the time, but I think the new Spider-Man actually gets the character right
because he's actually a kid.
Yeah. Well, even in the comics, he's not a kid for that, and huge amount of time, but
no, he was a kid for 40 years.
Also, he's not trying to save the world. That's the one thing that
it was a very localized story.
Well, here's my question: if we're talking about Black Panther 2, who is the bad guy? Why? What is the
and what does he do? I'm very sorry.
I don't know.
I was actually gonna go there. What is the plot? We had his one, all his villains. The other big villain he has, everybody loves. We're gonna have white.
Well, that's the thing. There are other villains, and I've said on this before. I think Claw has a son. He 100% has a son.
So we have Claw 2.0.
Yeah. So
does he have a mixtape? I need to know the SoundCloud address.
Probably.
That was actually the only thing that I was really super disappointed in as far as storytelling goes in Black Panther, is Claw.
I agree, but I think
Claw,
the ultimate
as soon as Claw gets really interesting, he's offed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the ultimate purpose of him and what he served for Killmonger's story, I was like, I gotta give him a pass on this one. I gotta be like,
you could have used a much lesser actor for that.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
That part would have been so much worse because it's the first time Andy Serkis has ever been do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so good, and every scene he's in, crushes.
He's amazing. He needs to be in more things, definitely.
That's not motion capture. Yeah.
No, actually, I want him to keep doing motion capture work because the more he does it, the more legitimate it's going to be.
I'd like
half.
I would like it to be half and half, motion capture thing and then live action thing. I want a steady balance. He's really backloaded himself.
I don't think there's a single human being on Earth who could do for Caesar what Andy Serkis did.
I agree.
In Planet of the
Or anything that he's mocapped. I mean, King Kong, Gollum. I mean, he brings so much energy and real, he makes you feel the character.
Yes.
War for the Planet of the Apes has one of the saddest performances I've ever seen come out of anything, and it's a CGI character.
Well, what's sad to me is the only other movie I remember him not being CGI is 13 going on 30.
Because he hasn't been in many, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
he needs to...
He was in King Kong.
He's in The Prestige. He's opposite David Bowie.
Oh, yeah, he is. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
really?
and he's
he does small roles every once in a while, but aside from Claw, there's not much. And also,
there's nothing that he's been able to shine as a person.
We're also assuming this isn't somehow his choice. Like, maybe this is what he really likes doing, is picking up small roles and then diving into stuff like Planet of the Apes.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
I also think that part of why he kind of trained the next generation of hymns in the Apes movies is because he does want to move away from it, because it's very physically taxing on him. If you've ever seen any interview with him, I think after a certain point it'll be like, wrestlers or football players where doing that kind of acting must be harmful.
Well, it's
that's
also
why Toby Kebbell took over as Kong, and he didn't play Kong again.
Circus is very involved in the tech and behind the scenes that are involved in creating this stuff too. Like,
not to mention he's even directed a lot of it. Like he did some directing for the Hobbit movies.
Yep.
And also the video game that he was in, that he did the motion capture for. It's based on Journey to the West. I can't remember. It was a 360 game. Connor, can you help me out here? Hunter?
Enslaved.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. He
right.
was. Yeah, I thought he had like he has a company that was created that.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the other big guy, like in the MCU, that does all this stuff is like weirdly Cumberbatch.
Yeah, he does.
Because he does a ton of mocap stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, it's him, Cumberbatch, and Kebbell that do the most of this motion capture stuff.
And Toby Kebbell's another fantastic actor who's not getting enough work.
Yeah, his best stuff is in motion capture, oddly enough.
If I can go back to 13 going on 30, there's a lot of MCU people in this movie, which is really weird.
That's true.
Isn't Mark Ruffalo in there?
Mark Ruffalo's in it.
It's that movie and Zodiac, which are the breeding grounds for the MCU.
What an odd mix. But yeah, so any guesses?
We're going to be playing like 1 degree of separation for Marvel movies.
Yes.
Any guesses on who Donald Glover could potentially be playing if this is true?
He's still got to be playing Morales.
But we brought this up. Like, is the Prowler part of? Is the Prowler part of the Spider-Man rights?
My guess is he's Spider-Man rights because of Miles, and Miles is a Spider-Man character.
But Miles was created after I think Sony had the deal.
That's what makes it really complicated. But then you got to think, well, Into the Spider-Verse isn't a Marvel movie; it's a Sony movie. So
true.
Miles must be part of the Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is
also
they didn't
drop Miles Morales by name in Homecoming. They just said, my nephew lives around here, and in the comics, Miles the nephew of Prowler, is he not?
Yes, he is.
They don't have to make the connection explicit. He can still be Prowler and not have to mention Miles.
I think that doesn't change the rights, though. Like, he's still owned by Sony. So, again, I think there'll be a trade. Like, there will be another character who will go back and forth. Like, Hawkeye might show up in the next Spider-Man movie or something like that. So, something to that effect. In exchange for Prowler.
Screw that. Ant-Man should show up in the next Spider-Man movie.
Actually, yes, do that.
It goes without saying, but this is also fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I just lament the day that Sony got involved in all this, because it makes a mess of everything. Because there was rumors last year that Sony was already itching to get the Solo movie rights back because Amy Pascal's a fucking idiot.
Well, no, okay, so that's not what the story was. The story was Amy Pascal might decide not to renegotiate the deal at the end of it. She might decide that she doesn't like...
That would be so stupid.
Okay, then my second point still stands. She's a fucking idiot.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, no
She's
shit.
Let
seen
Arlen
the
finish.
green. She's seen the money at this point. She knows that that's a bad idea.
She's seen the sandwich.
Have you seen her emails, though? Do you really think she
thinks... Those are years old, for one. Also, Sony isn't doing well, if you haven't been noticing.
Yeah.
I know.
Ghostbusters was a failure.
Forever.
Yeah, like...
Well, Sony's not doing well because of stupid-ass decisions.
I agree. Well, they're making worse decisions than they were before.
It's also to point out that the CEO of Sony was, like, really pushing the film division, and now he's gone. So...
Yeah, like, she's in charge now. But again, like, aside from Spider-Man Homecoming and Baby Driver, what's the last Sony movie you saw that you loved? Yeah.
Yeah. They make.
Yeah. You can't name one because they don't exist. Because again,
God of War?
Like I liked the Ghostbusters movie. Fine. It was fine. It was whatever. But like they keep on making choices like that, movies that nobody wants to see, and they don't do well. So they're kind of in a position where it's like, the best shot we have is we keep on working with Marvel and to help us keep afloat. So yeah, I don't see them not doing some negotiation, and I think that again, like they're gonna trade for Prowler at some point, or they're just gonna let it happen. They're just gonna say, fine, yeah, use Donald Glover, whatever.
At what point does Marvel not? At what point does Marvel offer them enough money that they can't say no to it? To get back the rights in perpetuity.
Dude, right now you could probably offer Sony $5 and they'll be like, "Fucking take it, man."
Yeah, maybe. I think
it's not. They're not Universal. They're actually have money flying.
Well, yeah, they do, but
but
Universal has
not
money
because
also.
of their film division.
I think it depends on Venom. If Venom tanks, I think Sony will give up.
I agree.
I think Venom's gonna tank too.
Like if
I hope. I tell everyone I know, Venom is not part of the MCU. Don't go see it.
Yes.
Yeah. It looks bad.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'll watch it, but I won't.
Yeah.
It looks really bad. I mean, it looks like the equivalent of the fucking '97 Spawn movie.
Yo, don't you mess up? Don't you? Yo, John Leguizamo was awesome in that movie.
Yeah, John Leguizamo was awesome in that movie. Nothing else was awesome in that movie.
What planet am I?
I refer you to our first ever movie special review of Spawn, in which we disagree with you vehemently.
Well, it's because you're all racist and you're all a bunch of white guys talking in a movie starring a black man and the villain is a Puerto Rican.
God damn it,
dude!
As representing both of those people, I say I disavow that movie. I disavow your review.
Look, that movie is terrible. I watched it the other day. I don't know
really
why.
It's really bad, dude. It's like
I felt self-punishment was necessary that day, I guess.
It has an Academy Award-winning actor in it.
Also, most of our criticisms were towards the eldest Sheen, so actually, you're wrong, Lou. We got
Leguizamo was good as the clown, but
yes,
that's literally that's literally the only thing that was good about that, and that's what But that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like Venom looks like it's gonna be basically the same damn thing. It's going to be a shitty CGI.
Venom currently looks basically just like Tom Hardy the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all of Tom Hardy's weird little things in a movie.
Him and his fucking beads, man.
See, it's not just me.
I mean,
my favorite thing he's ever done is a Netflix TV show, and I don't remember the beads being in it.
It's like, what the fuck is he? A Hare Krishna now? Is he gonna meet me at the airport and try to hand me a pamphlet?
God damn it! Okay.
I don't know, but I turned my Xbox One on by accident, and now it's not fucking giving me an input on my TV, and I think I may actually tear this whole room apart.
Oh no!
After I put it back together.
Anyways, Connor, you weren't on when we were talking about Michael B. Jordan. Let's go back to him for a minute. Does anybody think there's a possibility where it is not an Arkham Knight situation, where it is
he is 100% dead or something? He is 150% hallucination.
It would diminish what they were telling with the first movie so much, and especially the way he died. If they're somehow like, no, I'm good.
I don't think Ryan Coogler would do that.
Yeah,
no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
I died, but I got better.
The only thing I can think of is that oh my god, can't think of his name. But Boseman would be like, okay, I'm negating your wish to just die seeing the sunset in Wakanda.
Yeah, but he wouldn't do that. That's the thing. Like,
I would think he wouldn't do that, but that would be the only way to get him back.
Yeah, I agree.
Other than in flashback.
But it diminishes his last line.
No,
exactly.
The three ways to get him back are like he said, flashback, hallucination, or we see what happened after he dusted. Because spoilers for Infinity War, or if you listen to this and you haven't seen it, presumably he went to the land of the dead when Thanos dusted him, and he might have memories of when he was there, and presumably Michael B. Jordan would be there because he did die in Wakanda.
And he was a Black Panther for a short amount of time.
Yeah. So
now here's the big question about that: does T'Challa go to the Soul World, or does he go to the Land of the Dead?
He goes to the Land of the Dead, I would think. He goes...
Or third option, Avengers 4, when they met, well, assuming they time travel, somehow they mess with the timeline and he still lives.
No.
I
still think
that is
No.
also a cop-out.
Yeah, that's just a big cop-out. But I do think the dusting has something to do with it, regardless. Like, that also plays into the hallucinations. Like,
I was going to say, technically, couldn't T'Challa go to both?
Mm-hmm. I think both could be possible. I think he goes back there to get rid of the hallucinations, maybe, and confront him. Maybe he has to have another fight in the spirit realm or whatever.
I would actually kind of like him to have an experience like he had with his father, but it's instead of going back to seek counsel, it's completely hostile.
Well, no, because so his actions at the end of the movie are because of Killmonger.
Yes.
And it could be like he has a question and he still doesn't quite know how to rule exactly, and he comes to Killmonger and he's like, what do I do? Because I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be violent in the way that you were. What would you do?
Or how do I help?
Well,
or he meets his father.
Exactly.
I did some Googling, and the number one villain that comes up, which I think they could work through because the person's an amazing actor, is actually Lupita Nyong'o's character becomes a villain in Black Panther's comics.
That could be something.
And I think they could,
that could be awesome.
If after the snap, if like her experience, if she was erased, completely flips her around where she just basically loses her mind after like being dead.
Yeah.
I think she could really carry a film as a villain.
I didn't think she died at the end of.
We don't see her.
Well, no, it's not a defined thing. We don't know.
And nobody's asked about it. Like, people asked about Betsy Ross. They asked about Sif. They asked about a couple of people. No one asked about, damn it, I can't remember.
Well, those answers were volunteered. They weren't, like,
Lucia.
Specifically asked for.
The one that was asked
I thought they were asked.
No, they asked about his sister. And they said she is alive.
Yeah, they asked like a general question. My memory is that they asked a general question, and the Russos just offered up all those answers, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, apparently he's gonna ask, and they're like, okay.
Yeah,
well,
they want to clarify things, but
even if she didn't get gone, like the experience could just flip you around. Like if everyone you care about, the man that she quote unquote kind of loves, if we see in Black Panther, is gone, and everything is gone, it could just break her mentally. Yeah. And it would actually be really interesting to see a black female villain.
A spy master at that.
Well, I mean, just a good female villain that's already been established
as a hero.
As a hero, but a character that's already been established in one of the movies. Like, because the other female villain we've got is Kate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, she was amazing.
And she was great.
I think
but it's not an established character.
And it does also clear the way for Storm if they acquire Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
I think the only problem with that is that Coogler has already sort of said that it's important to him that T'Challa has 3 women who are vital to his life. Like that's
but he has his sister, his mom, and what's her name?
Okay,
right. But she was one of those women that he thinks is important. So like, I don't think he would do that just because of what he's already set up. But I think it'd be an interesting place.
But see, in the next one, he could meet another woman too.
I mean, that's a possibility. I just don't think that's where they'll go, but I do think that's an interesting.
I mean, I don't necessarily either, but it's like, he just wants, if he wants 3 strong women in T'Challa's life, to be very important.
He was very specific. He wanted those women to each represent a different thing
aspects,
to him, a different aspect of how he should be.
He's got family, his love, and then his duty. And
he did it wonderfully too. So
that's my only thing. It's like, I don't know about that, and I think that he will come up with a villain. Like there are other Black Panther villains. Also,
the only other one I see is like one character I've never heard of called Moses Magnum. And
that sounds ridiculous.
He's so mustache twirly.
I think he was from the Priest run.
I would be down like right now for a Black Panther movie where he's actually kicking the KKK's ass like he did in the early comic.
That would be
fucking
not
like
American. He's a foreigner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's setting up embassies and stuff. And
that's a good point.
Too soon. Yeah, but it's too soon. It's too
is
soon.
it?
Like,
yeah.
Here's
the same
the
problem
thing.
that Watchmen has.
Yes,
yeah, I
exactly
don't want to deal with. I don't want to go to these movies and experience the shitty politics and nonsense that we're like societal bullshit we're all going through right now.
Oh,
and
look,
B,
man, I'm all.
I don't want to fucking come across one of these mouth-breathing, extreme right-wing, MAGA hat-wearing motherfuckers while trying to enjoy every part of this movie, be it on social media or at a theater. And I don't care if I just offended someone listening to this. Go fuck yourself.
Yes, but subscribe and then die, as I've said before.
You're not gonna have me argue with that at all. Like, no, I agree.
Yeah,
it's like I decided a while back. It's like I love film. I love everything about it, but I can't watch anything depressing anymore.
Yeah.
It's like me and my wife, we watched the first episode of Handmaid's Tale today. She's like, "You want to watch the next one?" I was like, "No, because I'm already sad."
Wait, what? What show?
Handmaid's Tale season 2.
Oh, well, it could be worse. You could be watching 13 Reasons Why.
Oh God! Why did you have to bring that up?
I'm not a 12-year-old couple, so I don't need to watch that.
You can fucking spoil it.
Here we go.
What? 13 Reasons Why or The Handmaid's Tale?
Okay, so I don't know if this is true or not, but there's something involving a broom handle, and I'm like, fuck off.
Oh, jeez.
13 Reasons Why?
Okay, back to Black Panther, please.
Yeah, no shit.
We'll talk about 13 Reasons Why.
Let's go back to a movie that didn't have a broom handle in it in any scene.
But I think
I just want to make one last point, and that's the only thing I can think. Like, everybody loves. I can't remember his name, but like White Gorilla, that character. I don't remember his name.
M'Baku.
Like, you can't make him a villain in
they're not gonna.
The second one.
No, dude, the fan fervor around the possibility of him walking up to Thanos and just barking at him was too high.
Yeah, no, he's too beloved now that I don't think they will.
But that's just
I'm here for the Infinity.
But that said, them not even doing like a villain, just a villain, is something that I could see being a possibility. They're just being like a civil war in Wakanda would be something.
Actually, here's the thing: you have a built-in villain. What's his nuts from Get Out?
Oh, Kahlua?
Yeah.
But he's
have a built-in villain.
I think he's.
Did he?
I think just a general uprising among the people.
It depends. I would say
because I know that's what the Tahiti, that's what the Coats Run was about. It, from my understanding, is that there was like an uprising in Wakanda of people who didn't want to live under the Black Panther's rule anymore. They wanted to think for themselves and protect themselves.
The leader of that would be M'Baku, which
they can come up with a new leader. Like they can go.
I mean, they do that shit all the time.
You have the perfect opening for what you were just talking about, Arlen, because all right, so Black Panther 2 is going to be coming out obviously after Avengers Part 4, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So what happens is after the snap, and let's say 50% of Wakanda's gone, you have all these people who are now part of an infrastructure that's expanding rapidly, and they don't have all the people they needed before, and then they start to see what the outside world is like and see what it's like not being under the rule of a monarchy.
And also, let's add to the fact that once the snap is repaired, because let's be honest, Black Panther is absolutely coming back. T'Challa is coming back.
There's no way.
And here's the thing. And now I've also heard there's going to be a 5-year gap between Avengers 3 and Avengers 4. That means somebody else has been ruling Wakanda for 5 years. Probably Shuri.
Yeah.
Was it Shuri or
M'Baku?
Or M'Baku.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be more likely to
that
be
means
M'Baku.
you basically you run into a larger version of the problem that they had in the first movie, which is I'm not dead, I'm still king.
Yeah. And
which I don't think he would word it that way, but like his sudden reappearance would throw the entire nation into disarray because like holy fuck, our actual born rightful king is now unkilled.
Yeah, because what you just said is I didn't think about it. That is a great way to make M'Baku the antagonist, not villain. But if you have him being the ruler this whole time,
and if he's been a good ruler, also that's the other thing.
Yeah,
and he's a fan favorite. So then you have like two fan favorites heading off. It's like, what do you do?
And like, there's another there's an outside force maybe who's influencing it, who is the hard V villain of the movie.
But we saw that with Civil War,
and it's Baron Zemo. He's at it again.
That would be great.
No, that's where Donald Glover's character could come in. He could be someone who worked with Killmonger when he was in the CIA.
Yeah,
and
maybe he's an undercover Skrull.
Also understands how to destabilize a
You're really into this Skrull stuff.
Hawkeye's a Skrull.
I would not mind it if they like planted seeds over like
if
7
they planted
movies.
Seeds for Phase 5, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 7 movies. Like
no,
guys.
Tomorrow, Black Widow's gonna undo the makeup on her chin. Green.
Yeah.
In a trailer, not even for a movie. Just
but I'm saying, if they built like little seeds every single movie, and they can like Black Panther is a movie where I would totally dig a seed. Like just
that's
one
a
little
good place
thing.
to put one. Yes. Yeah. Like.
Well, how about this? I mean, we don't even think about this. Like, how about not having a villain?
I mean,
like,
I'm into that.
I'm okay with that.
Like they've kind of been experimenting with different types of movies. They've done heist movies. They've done a high school comedy basically and stuff like that, like a John Hughes style movie. How about trying to do like a disaster movie?
I'm just trying to think of a way where at the end M'Baku doesn't die.
The first event
that was Thor 2. Don't worry, it was Thor 2.
God damn it.
Well, I mean, more along the lines of like they've got some kind of like natural disaster hitting just their region.
Black Panther 2 as a mini Game of Thrones would be interesting.
And sort of like T'Challa's arc is like he's not sure what to do.
Well, why not?
He kind of goes back into the realm of the dead or whatever he did. And he talks to Killmonger, who would be more proactive in saving everybody.
Yeah.
Well, here's if you're gonna do a disaster movie, like a natural disaster, why not just rip off Batman No Man's Land wholesale?
Yep.
And just have an earthquake hit Wakanda, and it goes into such disarray that several sections of the nation are being run by these pieces of shit.
Ooh.
That could work really well. I'm into that.
And that goes with the Killmonger thing.
And Black Panther has to fight his way through his own country.
But I would actually want it written in a way that nobody is actually a true villain. Like everybody thinks that they're doing the right thing, and there are going to be aspects of them actually doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And he's got to learn from going through all of this.
Yeah.
Or on the natural disaster front, Arlen, they actually are just holding it really close to the vest, but they actually got the rights to Namor back, and he's just going to flood Wakanda.
God fucking damn it!
I was going to say,
that's actually something that I'm kind of into. Because
I would be into it.
Because after reading Time Runs Out, I want to see. I said last night, I want to see Black Panther drop Namor from one Earth to the other.
I don't think that'll ever happen because Universal Skull Hand, suitcase. But what was I gonna say?
Can I say one more thing before you jump in, Arlen?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing with that is I don't think that's how they've set up Black Panther. Like he's kind of the whole Wakanda's on this
peaceful.
world. He's on this world stage where all of Wakanda. And kind of into 2018, and this will be like 2020 by the time they come out with this movie, I don't think they can actually do what you guys are saying. I think that they have to make Wakanda, because of the climate, this kind of utopia. And if anything, the Force will always be outside. So it'll have to be.
Yep.
It'll have to be T'Challa dealing with, all right, post Thanos, the world is trying to either form this kind of one world government, and he doesn't want that. He wants to continue the sovereignty. Even though he's helping the rest of the world, he wants to maintain the sovereignty of Wakanda.
Yeah.
I think that would be the conflict.
Yeah, that could be something. I mean, on the natural disaster front, I think that it would be an interesting idea, only because I think what makes the first movie great, in a number of ways, is that it is a direct comment on America and America's... misuse of power or just not knowing what to do with its power.
It talks about every side in a way that you can understand.
Yes.
Because every character, you're like, they got a point.
Boy, I can't wait for Black Panther 2 to commentate on how they just lose 1,500 kids then.
Well, yeah, but also like,
Well,
goddamn
no,
it.
I mean, but like Black
like,
Panther
commenting
could
on
actually
FEMA
be a
is
very
something.
good. I was about to say exactly like Black Panther 2. Like if they went like in a way that it's something that Black Panther can't punch his way out of.
Exactly.
And he's having to try to rely on like at first he tries to rely on other people, but the Sokovia Accords prevents anybody from coming in to help because they refuse to let them for something.
Okay, here's my thing with the Sokovia Accords. It's great for Civil War, and it's great for the aftermath. But after the snap, like if fucking Thunderbird Ross is still like, if anybody sees Captain America, arrest him, and he's not immediately punched in the dick and someone burns the Sokovia Accords, then I would lose my mind because that's ridiculous.
But that is the kind of dick they've set him up to be.
The
I mean,
thing
look at how he
not
interacted with Don Cheadle in that.
That is the last time we're going to see him, I think.
Yeah, if you're saying natural disaster, how can you beat a natural disaster of half of the universe stopping existing?
Yeah.
That's all fair.
Because look, even okay, let's take Thunderbird Ross out of the equation. Anybody with a brain who's leading a country after half of their population has been seemingly erased from existence, the moment someone brings up the Sokovia Awards, they're getting tossed out a window.
Yeah.
The Sokovia Awards.
Sokovia Awards.
We've got Iron Man for dropping the biggest chunk. Let's congratulate him.
Congratulations, Iron Man! You killed a little boy.
Okay.
No, the moment someone brings up a Sokovia Accords, like they would get tossed out of the fucking room and discredited. Like no one cares at that point.
Well,
like
the thing is, who's talking? Because we don't know who's alive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like,
How many people of any government is existing at this point?
Yeah, and that's something else. I hope.
Yeah, but isn't Black Panther 2 going to come out after? It's obviously going to come out after. So if they do a time manipulation type
hang on. But even then, after this entire thing is settled, if the Sokovia Accords still exist, everyone in the world is a moron.
Well, no,
because there'd be no
But here's
reason
the
for
thing,
it.
it's
one of the
like
first
the only
shots we will see
at
is
that
people
point,
in
the
the
only
UN
people that are
repealing it. They'll be like, we're done with this. This is,
Let's
throw this away.
I really think by the end of like Avengers 4, the only people that are going to know about anything before the snap, like after the snap, are going to die in the fourth one.
Yeah.
No, but the world is going to become well aware of what happened.
Well, the
like
thing is,
at this point, they've been exposed to aliens and other extraterrestrial threats.
after the snap, everything that Iron Man has done is completely like understandable.
Yeah,
like he was kind of right. You need something.
You're out of your goddamn mind if you don't think the world is going to be celebrating Captain America and Iron Man once they're dead. Like that is going to be a reason that not that they're even going to touch on it, but they would be like, oh yeah, the Sokovia Accords, get rid of those. Like these two guys just sacrifice themselves.
Like the Sokovia Accords will die like the moment Avengers 4 opens. It's whether on screen or off screen. Like there'd be no reason to enforce it, talk about it, reinforce them. Like it works for the time it was used for, and like the build up and the aftermath are fine. But anything in the future, like if someone brings up the Sokovia Accords, they deserve to be backhanded. Like
there's no government. Like who's in there?
And that's what I was going to get to.
Well, I mean, but Black
hang
Panther
on.
was instrumental in it.
That's true.
Yeah, but it would no longer matter.
Yeah.
If you have a cosmic threat that came to our soil, the planet's soil, and killed half the planet.
It's like being mad about on Earth. Everyone would be like, "Oh well, fuck, why we're fighting? Jesus!" Like,
it's like being mad about gunpowder after someone's already dropped a nuke.
Yes. Like
who gives a shit? We're past
it's politics after you've been exposed to an extraterrestrial entity who just walked up to our front door and killed half of what we understand.
Who, for all intents and purposes, is God. Like with a capital G.
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, it's like let the Avengers do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
At that point, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
And here's the thing with the snap, like who's to say that there's some sovereign governments who no longer have a governing body? Because who's to say that the chances their entire government administration was part of the half of the population who was killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a country like Micronesia or something along
like
those
the
lines.
head of the post office is the president in some of these countries. Like,
well, okay, so even with the natural disaster, then like, okay, even if like Sokovia Accords out the window, everything. they're gonna be busy trying to build rebuild other countries. So even that could leave Wakanda.
Well, and that's Batman No Man's Land. It's that the resources for outside help are the catastrophe was too big for any source to come in and help from the outside. So Batman's doing it all from within. Superman shows up and he's like, I can help. And Batman's like, no, you can't. And he's right. Superman can help as Superman. Instead, he goes down there as Clark Kent and helps people start gardens and teaches them farming techniques so like the homeless and the sick can live but can't escape.
I would say I would not be surprised if the next one, if somehow through the fact that so many people are dead, that Tony Stark is the kind of de facto president of Earth.
Holy shit!
Because there's so many leaders, if so many important people are gone, he's the most powerful human being on the planet once he gets back to Earth.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Or less, yeah.
Yeah.
Once he makes a rocket ship out of Nebula and rides her back to Earth.
they'll just do like a Dragon Ball Z fusion.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with that. We never saw how she gets to that planet, do we?
She rides a ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. That's what they take home.
It was only like 4 of them.
Yeah. Or she sends out she fucking calls a marauder for all we know.
Yeah, she calls the Ravagers. Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
At that point, it's just like her, Tony, and who else is over there?
Nobody. It's just her and Tony.
It's her and Tony, which
so
is gotta be the most
her ship back.
The fucking most awkward conversation home ever.
Yeah, and he shows up on Earth, and just
so everybody disintegrated, and
so you're his kid, aren't you? That's pretty.
But
weird.
to go to this, so him and Cap are the most powerful figures on Earth left, probably.
Yeah.
It's almost like I think in the Secret Wars version of Civil War, Tony is the president of the west side of the country, and Steve is the president of the east side of the country.
Well, they've both been political figures. Tony's been Secretary of State. He's controlled S.H.I.E.L.D.
Steve has controlled S.H.I.E.L.D. Tony has controlled S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They let anyone control S.H.I.E.L.D.
They really do.
They let Norman Osborn control S.H.I.E.L.D. Anybody
No, he turned it into Hammer.
Yeah, he controlled Hammer.
It's the same thing.
Hey, Peter's Dust. You want to control S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Okay, I think we're good.
We are good. It is 10:30 here, which means it's 1:30 by some of you. And and full disclosure, I've really got to take a shit. Okay.
I've already taken 1 pee break, and I need another.
Yeah, all I've done since coming home is rearrange my room, jump on this, and my linens are still in the fucking washing machine, and half my room's still not
along
still
with
not
my
in.
quilts and my doilies.
Look, all right, I fucking sugary cocaine all over my sheets in bed. All right, I had to go wash them. I wasn't sleeping in that bullshit. I had bubblegum flavored stimulants spilled all over my fucking sheets. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not sure what Rockstar tastes like. It just tastes like sweetness and fucking lightning.
That's battery acid and sugar.
Probably.
Yeah, I guess we can wrap.
Yes. Hi, I've been Connor McGraw. We're once again delayed in fucking Movie Dumpster. We're recording on Monday, Memorial Day, possibly Tuesday. It keeps getting pushed back for a matter of inconveniences. But we're still doing Tammy the T-Rex, starring Paul Walker and Denise Richards, from way back when, where Paul Walker dies. Paul Walker dies and his brain is put into a robotic T-Rex.
Oh God!
And then Denise Richards and him bone down at some point, don't they?
Well, at the end of the film, spoilers. His brain is put into this weird computer matrix, and she does a striptease for his brain.
All right, that's been Connor with his preview of a weird Blue Lagoon makeup or remake.
Hey, we sold you on Runestone. You fucking want that movie?
I do, dude. Yeah,
by the way, I do. I think I'm pretty sure I still have it on my laptop.
Nice. All right.
Alan's gonna be like, you can't do that.
That's illegal.
That's illegal. I once got to send an anonymous message that was probably just from a troll, but I think it was the FBI.
I told Alan that if the people who own the Runestone copyright ever hear this and come to my door, I will give him all of my stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll give him everything I own if that happens.
Yes. Okay. Haro and all the places. As I said yesterday, I'm still on Vero, guys. So Go there. It's me and Zack Snyder. As far as I know,
It's you and Zack Snyder going. What Russian family?
What? Yeah. What Russian? What Russian
that
family?
That shit actually happened today. Real quick before everybody plugs stuff. He's been answering questions about Justice League all month, or he's probably do all year. And someone brought up the Russian family offhandedly, and he goes, "What Russian family?" Because he didn't write that shit.
That wasn't in his cut.
And apparently he didn't see the fucking movie either.
Of course he didn't.
Who would? I wouldn't if I had a choice.
Yeah. He's like, reminder of that time when my daughter died? No, thank you.
Yeah, like
the
more time we are removed from Justice League, the more interesting that movie gets, just because of his commentary on it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyway, continue.
Lost Horror podcast every week. Next episode, we're going to be talking about some of the better movies on Netflix that's coming out Friday. Previous episode about just streaming services in general, because those two episodes connect to each other. Would you look at that? Synergy.
Like there's a greater plan at work or something.
Yeah. Like we plot out our episodes ahead of time, and then they connect to one another. Amazing, huh?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
What's this flim flam that you're trying to sell us?
Meanwhile, movie specials coming up soon.
I'm Eric Fedorchak. You can find me on Instagram, Eric_Fedor, dogs, cats, food, comics. And that's really about it for me. I don't have anything horrific to share with any of you about Pennywise or any Jesse Ventura stuff. So sorry to disappoint.
Oh, no.
We're so disappointed.
How will I
Shining, glimmering,
you can buy this in a lead line DVD case with our special survival kit in a lead line.
If it's okay, can I go my plugs last?
Yes.
I have something to say at the end of them.
Okay.
That's
okay. I'll go second last.
All right.
What does that leave me?
That would be
Yes,
you,
Gerry.
Gary.
Do you have any plugs?
Okay, I've been to Drink Maximum, Gerry Gallimore. You can find me at my house, but it'd be weird if you did. That's it.
Is there anywhere to find your drawings, like on Instagram or something?
No, unfortunately, I do not upload because I am so self-conscious about drawing.
You should, though. This is me. Me
forcing. And here's
you.
why you should. Because sometimes you'll get random friend requests and messages from people going, "Hey, your art's really good," and I go, "Who the fuck are you?"
Look. After seeing the Liefeld drawings, I will do that.
Gary, I hid my art for a long time, and now I'm totally okay with sharing it all over the place, and it's actually worked out for the better. So,
I mean, you can read my recent review of the God of War game at Los Herros.
That Alan put a gun to your head and made you do.
No, he made me put a score on it. I didn't want to put a score on it. I was completely fine writing the review.
Oh, I actually agree with that sentiment. That I don't. Review scores are arbitrary.
Yeah, next time he does that, tell me, and then I'll tell him to back off because.
Because I mean, I really just want to be like, look, play it. It's fun. Yeah. That's all that matters.
It's how I if someone asked me to give Hellblade a score, I couldn't.
Right.
That's a game I need to get.
Everything.
No joke. Everybody here who doesn't already own it or hasn't played it needs to play it.
I have so many games in my backlog, though. I still haven't played Horizon.
I know.
I'm playing that right now. It's fantastic. Lou, what do you got to say about yourself?
So I am Lou A. Gonzalez on Twitter, a place that can go fuck itself, and Instagram. And you can listen to the Smallville Chronicles that I do with Alan Muir. And the next episode, we're going to be talking about Lizzie Kaplan is actually the Meteor Freak of the Week. And then I think that's what they called them early on. And then we'll be recording soon, which will be like probably coming out in like a month or so. Amy Adams is the bad guy of the week.
What?
And she's in a fat. Yes, I had to reshare that with you guys. She is in an episode where she wears a fat suit. And yeah, this show was 18 years ago, and a lot of people got their start.
Holy shit!
How old
Why
was
can't
she
she
in
get
that
away
thing?
from
She's
Superman?
like 20 years old.
God, that's crazy.
Yep. And we just recorded one of the best episodes of the series entirely. I talked about it on the last one, which was It foreshadowed stuff that happens at the very last scene of the very last episode of the series.
Huh.
With Lex. But it's awesome. Check it out. Don't forget to 5-star review, like, share, subscribe.
Yep.
Yeah, do all that stuff for the Phantom Zone podcast too.
Yeah, it's all the same feed.
Do that.
Yeah, you do a 5-star review, we will read it on the air. We will do that. So
regardless of content, it will be read.
Yes.
Does it count if I do it?
Really? Yeah, I was about to say. What about me?
Yeah,
can I do
anybody.
it too? Shit, yeah.
Sure.
Can you draw me a picture of the dolphin from Johnny Mnemonic?
Oh, for God's sake, Hunter!
iTunes doesn't let you do that.
I'd like
I'm requesting a personal piece.
Great.
From who?
You.
I will get on that.
I want it in a very sensual way, making out with iced tea.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I approve of this picture.
Alex Jones does not approve of this, but you are allowed to do whatever you want.
And I want like Moloch the owl god in the background.
God damn it. Did somebody say Moloch?
Is he one of the lizard people?
All right,
we're gonna hide little Ronald Reagans and other things in the background.
All right, we need to let Hunter do his.
Hunter, do your thing.
I'd like to step away from the bit for a minute because this is so. Last night I found out a very old friend of mine basically went missing, and then they found her body out somewhere.
Fuck.
So I just want to say, just appreciate what you have and stay safe for love of God.
Yeah, if you have bad thoughts, just reach out to someone.
Anybody.
We all have them. Like, I've had them. I'm sure
hey, I reach out to you guys. So.
Yeah.
Fuck, talk to us. We'll listen to anything you got to say.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we'll record it and release it as a podcast.
Yeah. No, but like, I had a similar sign off when the fucking shooting happened here in Vegas.
Like, it's just not. It's not me saying, like, I don't want to make this about me. It's not. But just for God, just be safe out there.
Yeah, a lot of nasty shit happening out. Like, it's particularly scary in the world right now. So, yeah, please stay safe. Don't do anything stupid, and talk to somebody if you have any issues. So, welcome to the positive zone. I'm kind of.
I thought we started to fade into the shadow zone.
Oh no, God no! No, the shadow zone is only going to talk about the historical stuff, not the fucking horrible stuff we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I also jettisoned an episode about the Japanese experimental unit that was doing human experimentation.
Oh no!
Because after I typed the line, a baby was javelined, I was like, I'm done.
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I could have given you a pass. I'm
done
part
now.
Japanese.
All right.
All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Bye.
And fuck X-Men Apocalypse until the sun explodes.
Fuck you, Barry Allen.
If you watch X-Men Apocalypse, the sun will explode.
Let's micromanage that. Fuck Bryan Singer until the sun explodes.
Especially fuck Bryan Singer. I don't want to literally fuck Bryan Singer, but metaphorically fuck Bryan Singer. That
But you might need
that is
Fuck you, Barry Allen.